morning and welcome to the Alan Brazil Sports Breakfast on talkSPORT with Ford alongside me, Ray Parler, and the two mates are still here.
The Alan Brazil Sports Breakfast on talkSPORT.
This is not the sound of a second-place finisher, that I can tell you.
Fascinating the last few hours. Mike Graham and Mike Parry from 1 o'clock have taken us right through, and it just looks now, guys, that Pennsylvania is going the way of Trump.
It certainly does, yeah. I mean, Florida went to Trump, and it was so close all the way up till about 4:30 in the morning that everybody knew that he could, if he didn't get Florida, he couldn't win. But when he got Florida, and Hillary Clinton, as Mike pointed out, started putting out tweets that sounded like she had lost.
Unbelievable.
That was ages ago, I heard that.
It was 2:30 in the morning, and she's putting out tweets saying things like, whatever happens tonight, I want to thank you all for a brilliant campaign. It's all been great. She lost, and that's because these parties have hundreds of millions of pounds and dollars to have their own polling institutions, which are microscopically right, and they knew they'd lost it. They knew they'd lost it by 2:30 this morning.
Yeah, and obviously it now looks as though, we're going to have the first president in the White House who has never served in the military, and who's never been in political office at all. So nobody knows what's going to happen.
Well, do you know what? I was talking about this, right? Personally, I couldn't vote for either, right?
Yeah.
But I'm just saying it, that I'm rather pleased she's not won it, because I don't like her. He didn't help himself what he said, but if he's got good guys around him, who knows? I don't know. Who knows? He might turn out to be a decent president.
It's going to be interesting to see what he changes, guys.
Well, you see, this is the problem with American politics, because although he's voted as American president today, he doesn't get into office until the second week in January.
Right.
So you've got this hiatus now, and of course all the markets are panicking and saying, oh, what's he going to do? Trade barriers and all that. So the market thinks like that. He can't do anything about it now until January.
Well, you might also see a situation which was similar to when Ed Balls left that note in the Treasury office saying,
no money.
we've spent all the money when the Tories came in. You might get Barack Obama in the next sort of 6 weeks suddenly going, right, what can we screw up for Donald Trump before he gets in here?
Yeah.
Is it the investigation will change everything to you guys?
Sorry?
The investigation
The FBI.
into...
Well, the guy from the FBI, James Cornick, who leads the FBI, must be the most relieved man in the world, because if Hillary Clinton had gone in, when he reopened the investigation, Hillary Clinton had a 12% lead over Donald Trump. That was 10 days ago. By the time he closed it down again and said, oh, actually, we've had another thing, that lead had reduced to 2%. Absolutely.
Do you know what as well, Mike Graham? If and it's still an if, look, we've got to be careful here. He's not won it yet. At the moment, what we're looking at, 244 against 215 for Clinton at the moment. But if he gets in and Giuliani's got a big part to play in Trump, what's he going to do with Hillary?
Well, I mean, he's going to be his Attorney General by the sounds of it.
Because he does not like Hillary.
Rudy and Hillary go way
America.
back, and I think he will be putting that guy from the FBI back on her case, and he'll be trying to look not so much necessarily at the email trail, but he'll be looking at the foundation. The foundation, some believe, has been spending money in an inappropriate, possibly illegal way.
It's very interesting, fellas. She came out of the White House with Bill Clinton, right, after he'd done 8 years there, and she said on the steps of the White House, well, Bill and I'll have to go and get a mortgage now. Well, the Clinton Foundation's now got $150 million. So they've acquired $150 million. And one of the allegations is that when her daughter got married, when Chelsea got married, instead of them using their own money, and they've got a personal fortune of $60 or $70 million, they used $3 million from the Clinton Foundation, which is supposed to don't help people overseas who are starving.
It's only an allegation, of course.
It was a good wedding, though.
Ray, I don't know if you're up to your US politics.
Well, I was listening to the two mics coming in, so very interesting. I mean, last night
the turnout was very, very high, so the people have spoken.
It was huge. Well, she was huge favourite last night, 1-5 on to win.
Yes,
and suddenly now,
and it suddenly shifted around about 3 o'clock in the morning, where basically he was made such a massive odds-on favourite that you thought, she is not coming back from
Ray
this.
will tell you, I phoned them up, say, Ray, I'm going to the bet.
Yeah.
What price to win Ohio? But that was
2-5.
What time was that at? That wasn't nowhere near 3 in the morning.
No, that was about
10:30 at night.
Yeah, 9:30.
And it was odds on. I was going to double up with Florida, and I thought, what am I doing?
Why don't you do it? It won.
I know.
They're going to have to close down all these polling companies now because this is the third one on the trot. The British general election, the Brexit vote, and now the US general election. They haven't got anywhere near being right.
The bookmakers are getting it wrong quite often. The Brexit, they got it wrong as well.
The bookmakers have to be following the pollsters because they haven't really got any other way of knowing what's happening.
Tell me, as Trump's, have we seen celebrations?
No, because she hasn't conceded yet, and that's what we're waiting for. That's what will happen next. You'll see Hillary Clinton step forward and concede. Now, whether she's gracious or not to the victor, we don't know, because there's a terrific animosity between these two.
Is she finished? If she loses this, she's finished?
She's definitely, politically, she's definitely finished, and the whole Clinton legacy is kind of over and done with. And I think what we have seen is from about 2 hours ago, both of their HQs are in New York City. The HQ for the Clintons, people were weeping, people were going home early.
No,
it was reminiscent of Stamford Bridge, in fact, on Saturday, as the fifth goal went in against Everton. People were leaving, crying.
The fifth bottle of wine went down.
Similar to
then
that.
the tears started.
Exactly.
Yeah, they did.
Now Roy Keane's having a go.
Now Roy Keane's having a go. But of course,
it's not a good week in the world.
But if you look at the Trump camp, they're starting to high five each other. They're all wearing these "Make America Great" things. Yeah. And what's also interesting is you heard Sarah Palin there talking on the news that they were kind of inspired by Brexit, and it's all of this has been kicked off by Nigel Farage. Yes. So not only is he now messed up Britain's communications with Europe, but he's now started to put people into power in America.
I was laughing at Mike this morning about Boris Johnson. That'd be funny.
What happens there? Yeah, when he sees the new president of the United States with the worse hair than him.
Well, like we were saying, there were people who wanted to ban Trump from coming here.
That's right,
Can you imagine that? If that had happened, if they'd actually got that through.
The other interesting aspect, Mike raised it earlier, was the marriage now between the Clintons, because hasn't been a marriage for about 25 years, if you see what I mean, and it's always been a unison of convenience. They were a terrifically powerful political couple. When they got in, I was in Little Rock in '92 when they got in there. And she actually said, isn't it great? US of America gets 2 for 1. She actually put herself on a par with Bill Clinton in those days, but she didn't succeed.
She lost it.
She will go down as the worst candidate in the history of the Democratic Party because she lost an election that she was 12 or 15 points ahead on to a guy who runs a reality TV show.
I'm looking forward to talking to Hank this morning because the oil... I've already texted a couple of friends of mine in the oil game, and that's gone woof. The currency,
Mexico,
the dollar's gone zoom.
It's a good time to go to Mexico. You get a lot of pesos for your dollar.
The Mexico peso.
Next, Mrs. Patty, Mexico. Head down there.
The Mexican peso can now be exchanged for lucky bags, official.
Guys, a sterling job. Thank you very much through the morning, through the night, and this morning, of course. We're back with Ray. We'll talk to Charlie Wolf a wee bit later, and I'll tell you now, let me tell you, Charlie is not surprised at all the way this has gone. 6:14.
The Alan Brazil Sports Breakfast on talkSPORT with the new Focus ST line from Ford.
Pennsylvania 6-5,000.
This is not the sound of a second place finisher. That I can tell.
Love and unload them. He's close. Pennsylvania, vote him in. He's almost there. Sandy.
Yeah, it's not quite a determined result yet. Some of the pundits say 95% were in that territory, that this is looking like a Trump victory overnight. Let me walk you through it, depending on what time you went to bed. If you did go to bed last night, you may have gone to bed thinking it was going to be a Clinton win. The early suggestions, the exit polls, even the bookies at that point were saying, actually, go to bed early, it's going to be a straightforward night. Hillary Clinton has done it. Yeah. As the results started to come in, initially, they were falling exactly as we would expect. The states that you thought would be Democrat were Democrat. The states that you thought would be Republican were going Republican. We then started getting slightly turbulent noises coming from the various parties. At about 5 to 2-ish, there was a tweet sent from Hillary Clinton's team, thanking their supporters on Twitter and saying, whatever happens tonight, you've done us proud.
I couldn't work that out. I heard that. I thought, that's negative.
It was an intriguing one, wasn't it? And it made you think they are seeing numbers ahead of what we're seeing as the votes came in. And as we've known all the way along, there were certain key states, because they had large numbers of these electoral college voters that they were going to be returning, and they were up for grabs, some of these states. And really the rot sort of started. Ohio is one of those states where they say wherever Ohio goes is where the result will go, and that went Donald Trump.
But he was a big favourite for that as well, I think.
It was one of the ones that was too close to call, as the pundits
was the Florida one was close.
Florida was very close, and depending on what numbers you look at, some of the pundits are saying actually these margins are representing only tens of thousands of votes difference either way. And of course, the way the electoral college works in the states, if Hillary Clinton got 20,000 more votes in one state, she got all of the college voters in that state.
Just come up on the screen there. 99% of the votes in Pennsylvania have been counted.
Yeah, I've got the numbers here.
He's 1 point above.
48.7% is Trump. 47.7% Hillary Clinton, with 99%.
They're just saying there, but it depends what screen you look at. 49 against 48.
Yeah, they've just rounded those up, so it's the same numbers that I'm looking at. Michigan, which is the other big one. I mean, Pennsylvania has 20 electoral college votes. Michigan is reporting 86% of the vote is counted there. Trump 48.3%, Clinton 46.5%.
That's 16 votes.
Both of those, as it stands, going to Donald Trump. Hillary Clinton has to win one of those to have any chance. And what they're saying is probably the best chance she's got is actually if it were to end in a tie now. Mathematically, no one now can see a path by which Hillary Clinton will become the next president. It's all sorts of complicated issues around what might happen with the actual electoral college. They post their votes in early December. There is no legal requirement in all of the states for all of those people to vote the way that result has fallen. So only one would need to change their vote, of course. If that didn't happen, then we get into another sort of layer of almost proportional representation where each state gets one person to vote for it. If you look at the colour of the map this morning, there is a lot more red than blue on there. There's a lot more Trump than Clinton. So we can't quite call it, but certainly the markets are calling it. They've been reacting all night. When the Asian markets first opened, they were buoyant. They fell quite sharply for a while. The Mexican peso taking a hammering as the money markets put it. At one point, apparently, the Canadian immigration website crashed overnight, whatever you make of that. The pound up against the dollar. We'll get more from Hank a bit later on to see where it's settling out. It's down against the euro. So all of the mood music, if you like, is saying this is a Donald Trump win, but we can't definitely call it as that just yet. We're on 244 for Donald Trump. The magic number, of course, is 270. Once one of them hits 270, that's job done.
That's it, yeah.
Amazing. Sandy, thank you. Yeah, it is quite remarkable what it'll mean to us.
You can't always get what you want. You can't always get what you want. You can't always get what you want. But if you try sometime, it just might find.